Good day, everyone. I am Mary J. Dison, and I am the first reporter from our group. So, our topic is all about the teachers and the community. So, let's talk about the external environment and availability of school. What is external environment? From the word external, it's about the outside. So, the external environments refers to the broader societal, cultural, economic, political, technological, and demographic forces that exist outside the school, but have a direct influence on its internal operation. It emphasizes that schools as open systems are interdependent with their external surroundings. These external factors shape its inputs, processes, and outputs of school as well as their ability to adapt and function effectively. So next, what is availability of schools? The availability of school refers to its ability to function effectively and sustain operation while adapting to external environments factors. School, as open system, depend on their environment for resources, regulations, and support. The availability of a school is influenced by various external factors such as technological advancements, government policies like No Child Left Behind, social and cultural changes, and economic conditions. Schools must respond to these factors to maintain accountability, meet curricular standards, and manage resources efficiently. Additionally, the administrator play a key role in ensuring the school's availability by adapting and managing this external influence. So now, let's move to the resource dependence perspective. This perspective views an organization environment as a crucial source of the resources needed for its operation. It emphasizes that organizations like a school depend on external resources such as fiscal. The example of fiscal is taxes, grants, and state aid. And another is personnel. The example of personnel is students, teachers, administration, and board members. The next one is information and knowledge. The example of these are outcomes from research and evaluation projects. And lastly, product and services. Example of this is instructional materials and test scoring service. However, simply acquiring these resources is not sufficient for meaningful improvement or success. Additionally, Grab 2009 expand on this perspective by classifying resources into four types: simple resources, compound resources, complex resources, and abstract resources. Grab argues that complex and abstract resources such as school culture and innovative teaching practices are more significant in improving students' achievement than merely increasing simple resources. Therefore, schools are more likely to thrive when they have access to rich environment of not only tangible resources but also abstract ones that foster innovation, teacher support, and positive school culture. The next one is availability of resources. The availability of resources refers to the extent or capacity of the environment to provide the necessary input that support the sustained growth and success of an organization, such as school district. The availability of resources determines whenever a school can go beyond basic survival to achieve complex educational goals, with scarcity placing significant limitation on their ability to provide rich and supportive learning environments. The next one is dependence. In the context of resource dependence perspective, it's defined as the extent to which an organization, such as a school, relies on external entities for resources necessary to accomplish its goal. It is shaped by two factors. The first one is the need for resources, or how critical a particular resource is to the school's operation. And the next one is availability of resources in the environment, or whenever the resource is scarce or abundant in the external environments. Schools become dependent on external providers such as textbook companies, test publishers, and governments when they cannot access essential resources elsewhere. This dependence is not limited to basic inputs but also extend to the complex and abstract resources. Dependence is relational, meaning it is not an attribute of school alone, but of the relationship between the school and external organizations. The greater the dependence, the more power external providers have over the school. These external entities can control not only the availability of resources, but also how they are used, and they may impose constraints on the school operations. So now, let's move to administering resource environments. This refers to the actions educational administration takes to manage the external factors that influence their schools. These factors can threaten or constrain educational autonomy and force changes within the school internal structure and operations. To mitigate this effect, administrators employ various strategies to gain control over essential resources and reduce dependence on external entities. Administering the resource environment has goals. The first one is minimize external effects. Educators seek to reduce the impact of external influences on their schools by securing the resources they need and limiting their reliance on outside organizations. The second one is increase control over resources. Administrators attempt to gain control over the resources they require, thereby reducing their dependence on other organizations and creating a more stable internal environment. The third one is absorb uncertainty. By taking proactive steps to manage external resources environments, administrators reduce uncertainty in the school's operations. This include preparing for changes in external conditions that could disrupt school functions. The last one is internal and inter-organizational coping strategies. These strategies are employed to shield key school processes from outside influence, ensuring stability and secure additional resources. Internal strategies may involve reorganizing school structures, while inter-organizational strategies could include forming partnership with other entities to ensure access to resources. Despite these efforts, the external environments of a school remain highly dynamic, meaning that any control or stability gained through these strategies can be temporary and may require constant adjustment.
Good day everyone! So ngayon, i-discuss ko naman sa inyo is about the adapting to external environment. So the Philippines is actively adapting its education system through the ever-changing external environment by crafting national standards and frameworks through legislation and committees, and by promoting internalization and globalization, which is the ultimate aim here is to prepare for a dynamic and interconnected world. Now, let's talk about the national standards and framework. So here, pahahapyawan lang natin si ASEAN Qualification Reference Framework kasi yung focus natin dito is kay Philippine Qualification Framework. ASEAN Qualifications Reference Framework, sabi dito, is a tool serves as common reference for comparing education qualifications among the ASEAN member states. So in simple terms, ASEAN Qualifications Reference Framework serves as a bridge to understand and accept educational qualification across different ASEAN countries. So for example, if you have a diploma here from the Philippines and you want to work in Thailand, so you can use ASEAN Qualifications Reference Framework to show Thai employers the equivalent of your diploma in their education. Now, let's talk about the objectives of ASEAN Qualifications Reference Framework. So, meron siyang 6. So, yung unang-una is support recognition of qualification. So, ASEAN Qualification Reference Framework makes it easier for ASEAN countries to understand and accept each other educational qualifications that helps people to find jobs and study in different ASEAN countries. Next is develop qualification frameworks to encourage lifelong learning. So, ASEAN Qualification Reference Framework encourages countries to create a system that support people in learning new skills through their lives, not just in school. Next is develop approaches to validate non-formal education. So, ASEAN Qualification Reference Framework recognizes that people can learn valuable skills outside of formal education, such as through work or personal project, and encourages countries to find ways to give credit for this learning. Next is promote learner and worker mobility. So, ASEAN Qualification Reference Framework aims to make it easier for students and workers to move between ASEAN countries to study and work. That help the region share talent and knowledge. Next is lead to better understanding of qualification system. So, ASEAN Qualification Reference Framework provides a common language for talking about qualifications, that making it easier for everyone to understand how different education systems work. Last is promote higher quality qualification system. So, ASEAN Qualification Reference Framework encourages ASEAN countries to improve their education system and ensure that graduates have the skills they need for succeed in the global economy. So, sa Pilipinas, meron din tayong own system for describing qualifications. So, yun yung tinatawag nating Philippine Qualification Framework. So, Philippine Qualification Framework is that outlines the various educational levels and establishes requirements for certification results. So, the Philippine Qualification Framework is like a roadmap for education and training in the Philippines, which helps everyone to understand the different levels of qualification and what they mean in terms of knowledge, skills, and values. So, the aim of Philippine Qualification Framework is to establish national standards and qualification to promote academic, worker mobility, and address job skills mismatch. So, yung goal dito ni Philippine Qualification Framework is to create a nationwide standards for education and work experience, na kung saan yung mga standards na yon will make it easier for people to move between schools and jobs, both within the country and internationally. So, tinutulungan din ito ma-close yung mga gap between what employers need and what workers have to offer. So, sino nga ba yung mga magbe-benefit dito kay Philippine Qualification Framework? So, nakalagay dito, learners, workers, professionals, employers, industry, academe, government, and all Filipinos. Now, let's talk about the features of Philippine Qualification Framework. So, nakalagay dyan, unang-una is quality assurance. So, the Philippine Qualification Framework ensures that schools and training program are high quality for everyone. Next is qualification register. So, the Philippine Qualification Framework has a record of all qualification in the Philippines for easy access by employers, by students, and by schools. Next is pathways and equivalencies. So, the Philippine Qualification Framework helps everyone to move between different learning programs and find jobs that match their skills. Last is the international alignment. So, the Philippine Qualification Framework connects qualification in the Philippines to standards in other countries, that making easier for Filipinos to work and study abroad. So, according to the Philippine Referencing Report, so our Philippine Qualification Framework and ASEAN Qualification Reference Framework are on the same page because they are both share a common goal of enhancing mobility and raising educational standard. Now, let's talk about the law that gives it the power to actually make a difference in improving education and training in the Philippines. So this is the Republic Act number 10968 or the Philippine Qualification Framework Act of 2017. So this law aims to improve the quality of education and training in the Philippines and provide Filipinos with wider opportunities to work, to study, and progress within and outside the country. Now let's talk about the internalization. So according to Wikipedia 2020 December 17, internalization of higher education refers to the process of improving higher education through integrating an international, intercultural, or global dimension into the purpose, functions, or delivery of post-secondary education. So, internalization of higher education means making universities more global and preparing students for a world where everyone is connected. Last is globalization. So, globalization is the process that focuses on the worldwide flow of ideas, resources, people, economy, values, culture, knowledge, goods, services, and technology. So, globalization is the interconnectedness of the world through the movement of ideas, resources, people, economy, and technology that lead to a more interconnected global community. While the internalization of higher education, sabi dito, is the process of integrating an international, intercultural, and global dimension into the goals, teaching and learning, research, and service functions of a university or higher education system. So, sa internalization of higher education, hindi lang siya about traveling abroad or studying with international students. So, sabi ko nga sa inyo kanina, it makes universities more global, na kung saan ang aim dito is to create a truly global learning environment that prepares students to be more active and responsible. So, bagamat magkaiba sila ng konsepto, ngunit masasabi mong magkaugnay sila. Because globalization makes internalization possible and internalization prepare us for a globalized world.